What's up guys, my name is Arina and welcome back to my channel where I review everything tech. I have two Google Pixels in my hands, the Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 4 XL. And yes, in today's video I'm gonna compare their cameras. The Google Pixel 3 XL has been released in May of 2019 and it's considered to be a budget model. But despite being a budget model, Google claims that it has the same rear camera as the Pixel 3. And when it comes to the latest and greatest from Google, we have here the Pixel 4 XL, which has been released in October of 2019, and so far I've had a really amazing experience with its camera. Let's take a quick look at the camera specs of these phones. We have 12.2 megapixel main cameras on the Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 4 XL with apertures of 1.8 and 1.7 respectively. And also we have a dedicated 16 megapixel telephoto camera on the Pixel 4 XL with an aperture of 2.4. And in this video, we'll take a look at some daylight photos, portraits, selfies, night shots, times to zoom photos, and so much more. And of course, I'll test the side-by-side video quality and stabilization. Let's start with some portrait shots. Both of these phones use their main cameras to take photos in the portrait mode. However, the Pixel 4 XL has the advantage of having the telephoto camera, which the portrait mode uses to get the depth information. So we can expect more realistic portraits, especially when it comes to separating hair and other small details from the background. I would say we got pretty similar portraits in terms of colors. However, the photo from the Pixel 4 XL seems slightly brighter, especially if you look at the sky. And when it comes to separation from the background, you can see some minor flaws in the photo from the Pixel 3 XL, and I don't see any obvious flaws in this particular photo from the Pixel 4 XL. But let's look at the next two photos. Once again, I would say the photo from the Pixel 4 XL looks slightly brighter and more vibrant, especially if you look at my jacket. But overall, I would say we get almost identical portraits from the Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 4 XL. And when it comes to separation from the background, looks like we have a better performance from the Pixel 4 XL again. And looking at the next two portraits, I think there are no doubts that the Pixel 4 XL has a significant improvement in its portrait mode. The difference in how these cameras distinguish the subject from the background is pretty dramatic. And let's look at these low-light portraits. My hair looks better in the shot from the Pixel 4 XL. However, we have some flaws over here. I was standing very close to the fence, which is always pretty challenging for portrait mode. However, the Pixel 3 XL handled the tricky situation pretty well. And overall, we got two well-exposed, beautiful photos. Moving on to the random daylight photos, and you can judge them for yourself. And now let's look at some times to zoom photos. For this type of pictures, the Pixel 4 XL uses its dedicated telephoto camera, while the Pixel 3 XL has to rely on the digital zoom of its main camera. Let's zoom into these photos. I would say we get pretty good shots from both of these cameras. And a few more times to zoom photos for you guys. So guys, I tried really hard to find some difference in quality between these times to zoom photos, but honestly, I couldn't find any. So I decided to make it a little bit more challenging for these phones, and let's look at some times 5 zoom photos. Well, I think you already can see the difference, but let's zoom into these photos. As you can see, the photo from the Pixel 3 XL lacks some details on the building, while we can clearly see every single brick on the building in the photo from the Pixel 4 XL. And overall, the photo from the Pixel 4 XL looks sharper than the one from the Pixel 3 XL. Let's take a look at the next two photos. And here, if you look at the sign, you can see how much sharper the lettering looks in the photo from the Pixel 4 XL. So yeah, having a dedicated telephoto camera is definitely helpful if you often take zoomed in photos. A few more x5 zoom photos for you guys. Now let's talk about the front-facing cameras. We have 8 megapixel cameras with the apertures of 2.0 on both of these phones. And let's look at some selfies. As you can see, the Pixel 4 XL has a slightly wider angle of view on its selfie camera. The face retouching option was off on both of these phones, and I would say the selfies from the Pixel 4 XL look slightly sharper. And let's look at some selfies in low light. Taking these selfies, I didn't use the night mode yet. And in the next two selfies, I used the night mode. And right away we get a dramatic difference in quality and exposure. A few more night selfies for you guys. Okay guys, let's also test the video quality of the selfie camera and also the sound quality. Let's start with the Pixel 3 XL. So this is the sound from the Pixel 3 XL. And now I'm switching to the Pixel 4 XL. And this is the sound from the Pixel 4 XL. What do you think, guys? Any difference? Next, let's take a look at some photos taken in the dusk. And you can judge them for yourself. Moving on to my favorite part, the night shots. We get the next generation night mode on the Pixel 4 XL, and let's see how these night modes compare in the real world. But first, I was very curious to see what kind of shots I would get if I didn't use the night mode on my Pixels. Well, the sky looks pretty noisy in both of these photos, and in the next shots I switched to the night mode. Such a big difference, we get pretty sharp, good-looking photos. I would say the Pixel 4 XL produced a colder-looking photo than the Pixel 3 XL, but let's look at the next two photos. Once again, these photos were taken in a default mode, and next I'm using the night mode. The Pixel 3 XL and the Pixel 4 XL produce slightly different photos in terms of colors. However, when it comes to which phone produces sharper night photos, I don't think we have a clear winner here. A few more night shots for you guys. now let's switch gears and look at some videos. The first thing I wanted to know if there was any difference in stabilization, and let's look at some videos. All the videos in this camera comparison were shot handheld, and I personally don't see any difference in stabilization here, and both of these videos seem pretty smooth to me. And next, let's look at some random daylight videos. And a few night videos for you guys, and you can judge them for yourself. So guys, it's time to wrap up this video. To sum up, when it comes to the Google Pixel 4 XL, we obviously get the advantage of having the telephoto camera, hence we get the improved portrait mode and better quality zoomed in photos. Also you get a slightly wider angle of view on the selfie camera, and I personally like the night selfies on the Pixel 4 XL better since they looked sharper. However, when it comes to random photos taken in a default mode, I don't think we get dramatic difference between the Pixel 3 XL and the much more expensive flagship. So let me know what you guys think about the cameras of these Pixels. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you in the next one.